Hi, this is Cruz and the Deej with the Pipe Podcast. This next episode is crucial to listen to. We're going to talk about what to do after the prospect says yes. Take a listen. You're going to love it. Yeah, welcome to the Sales Arbiter Podcast. I'm trying to sound more like you. I don't know.
Nice and easy.
It's not working, is it?
I was listening to Frank Sinatra today.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just can't stop singing it.
Well,
I'm in the car singing like a fool. But, it used to be that when you're in a car singing,
Right.
there's always that fear that you're going to be at the red light and then you look over and the person's there.
Oh, no.
Go.
Yeah.
But now,
Yeah.
nobody comes to work anymore. But here's the thing. And the fact that I woke up at 3:30 this morning, got up at 3:30. I'm out of the house at like 0500.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on. So there's nobody on the road anyway. So I could sing like a crooner.
A crooner.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm a crooner. Okay, you were saying?
Well, no, I do have something to add to that. It's like when you look in your rearview mirror and you see the guy or gal behind you
That's
and they're
right.
doing this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they're like dancing
That's right.
and singing.
Now, do you call them on it? Like, will you slow down and get next to them so you could say, "Hey, nice song"?
No,
no, you don't do that.
No, I let them go. Let them
Oh,
have
really?
their fun.
Just let them have their fun.
Let them
You
have
don't
their
do
fun.
it. So why?
No.
You know what I do with my rearview mirror?
This should be good.
I take it off. I'm done with the rear. I am not looking. What is behind me? I don't care about anymore. I'm only looking forward. I mean, if you think about it, your windshield is like 5 by 3. Or
Right.
3 by 5, right? Your rearview mirror is a little tiny thing. What are you putzing around with that thing anymore? I want to see forward. That's all that matters.
All right, but what about your side views?
What people do, I'm going to keep those. What am I, an idiot?
all right.
But no, and it's true.
Oh, what am I, an idiot? I'm just taking the rearview mirror. I'm not taking the side
Oh,
view
yeah,
mirror.
because you want to be able to make sure you don't crash.
Oh, okay.
But-
the rearview mirror doesn't help with that.
I'm about to make like a prophetic point, Isaac, and he's not.
Go ahead.
All right. So most people pay too much attention to the missed opportunities of the past at the expense of the future opportunities that are boundless before them.
Wow. That is, we should just stop there.
I know.
I don't think we need
That's
to.
a drop the mic moment.
Let's do it. We can drop
these
these now.
These are awesome mics. These are the same mics that Joe Rogan uses on his podcast. Now he gets.
Wait a second. The Joe Rogan?
Yeah, 100. See, that's why you're so clueless to the podcasting world of today. He has like 150 million listeners.
Right.
To each.
No, the reason I said that is because that guy owes me $20. I'll have to tell you that story sometime.
Get a load.
I'm really.
Get a load of him.
Listen, I'm really pissed at Joel.
Okay.
Yeah, and when you know him as well as I do, and he still owes you $20, I call him JR.
He really doesn't know who Joe Rogan is.
Yeah.
No idea. All right. So you were talking about this Pipe podcast. What are we going to be talking about?
Yes.
Sales?
So today we're going to, here's a question that we get from one of our 2 listeners. All right. We get this question often from one of our 2 listeners. What should happen after the prospect has said yes? Now, from the sales perspective, this is more like once you've gotten buy-in from your prospect, they've said yes and they want to purchase your product or service. There's all these buy-in signals that you're getting. Mm-hmm. Then what should you do?
Well, I'm going to back up for a second.
Oh, this should be good.
Yeah, but only because I don't necessarily agree that it's been you're on the sales presentation. That's not the only sale. I am. People call me a salesperson, but really I'm just a hunter. I just like that, and I build relationships with people quickly. That's what I. Mm-hmm. It's what I like doing, and so that's what I do a lot. So, getting someone to like you enough to have interest with you, that's a sale. Getting someone to set the appointment with you, that's a sale. Getting someone to say no to you, that's a sale. Mm-hmm. It's not one that you want, but that's a sale. Mm-hmm. Or disqualifying somebody, that's a sale. So, what do you do after the sale? You go to the next step, whatever it is, and you get there quickly.
Right.
You know, so if someone says, yes, I want to set the appointment, I agree to that, set the appointment and get the heck out of town.
Great.
You know, if someone says, yes, I'm interested, what do you like, red or blue? I'll take the red one, get the order and move on. There is probably another step after that to make sure that you don't lose the sale after you have it.
Right.
But just on its face, most people it's a lot easier to talk yourself out of a sale
Yes.
than it is to lose it any other way from there.
And
what do you think?
Well, I want to explore that for a second because
Okay,
we
please do.
have been.
By the way, sponsored by Canada Dry.
because we have been party to sales events where we're listening, right, for our clients. We're listening to their pitch, their presentation, what they're doing. And I mean, literally coming out of our skin because we're like screaming, even though they can't hear us. We're screaming, saying, stop, you know. So tell me what that was like as an example.
Oh, well, we're witness to, and this is, I mean, it's not like it's bad, not like you're a bad person if this happens to you, but I mean, you have a good product and you really want, you know what the important features are of your product. And you're going to get those important features out. I mean, whether they care or not, they couldn't care anything, you know, but
That's
you
right.
just love the fact that it comes in metallic turquoise and you're thinking nobody else comes in metallic. And the reason why we brought this, that the metallic stuff that's actually metal that was mined in a Middle Eastern factory that is 2,000 years old, and Jesus himself was there. And you're talking about
Right.
all the thing, and they're thinking, listen, I need to clip my fingernails, and is it going to help me clip my fingernails? I mean, that's what I'm interested in, is my fingernail clipping. And you're talking about all this, and you could just talk yourself out. So this particular case, this is a great software program, and it does a lot of things. It does one thing really well that the customer really wanted to buy. And the customer said, actually, on that call, the customer said, that's great. He goes, oh, really? That's a great selling point. Really? How should I get started? And he kept on talking. Because he wanted to tell him about the metallic turquoise. It wasn't really metallic turquoise, but it was as insignificant to the buyer as that. Mm-hmm. But he was going to get it out. And, it's not like I could interrupt him.
Right. Because you couldn't.
No, I mean, and why should I? He'll probably still get the sale because the product is that good. Mm-hmm. But it's bad training because somebody else wouldn't be nearly as, taken with it or taken with him. Zig Ziglar says, and I think probably I've said it several times, the most important part of the sale is the salesperson. Mm-hmm. So they may like the product, but if they're one of those people who are very time sensitive,
right, and
they start not liking the salesperson, mm-hmm. and if you don't like the salesperson, you didn't make that sale, dude, I'll get your product from somebody else.
Right. That's right. And we find ourselves, well, I would find myself before I started just to pick up on those sales cues where the person, there's a good fit between you and the organization. The person is saying, yes, I want to move forward. Yes, I want to buy. Right.
Oh, but let me show you one more thing. Finally, let me show you one more
thing. Right. And you have to force yourself. And I physically, you've seen me do it. I physically bite my tongue. Because I have to force myself to take those sales cues and then move to the next step. So, the dynamic between our organization is, yes, truly you are the business development side. You are the hunter side for Sales Arbiter, right? And you go out and you try and find opportunities for us and try and find clients that they have a compelling reason to utilize our product.
Yeah, that's whether or not they call in or I call out or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's trying to quickly distinguish whether or not they're real.
But once you find that, once we get them to say yes, then it's so important, Dan, to what you said earlier, was you move them to that next step. And that next step may be any of those things that you talked about, or it may be actually moving them now into the process of what we do. And so from an operational standpoint, when I hear the question, what do you do after your prospect says yes, then I automatically go to, well, now we start to deliver this stuff, right? Now we actually start to produce the underlying tools that they need to expand their business, install the CRM. We do sometimes install sales people or resources for them, all of those things. And so I automatically take it right to the next step, which is operationally. But even before all that, it's like, boy, when your prospect says yes, at that point, you need to shut up and keep them moving. Keep them moving on that pathway to sale.
Now, an experienced buyer, and a lot of people dealing with corporate sales or dealing with groups of people that they're selling to, or just someone who's been in the business a long time. An experienced buyer kind of knows the game. You don't have to resell. Oh yeah, but when they made a decision, I've already made the decision. There's only one place to go here, and it's not good. I've already. You can't get any higher than a yes. But people will not only talk themselves out of a sale, they'll talk themselves, even if they keep the sale, out of profit. They'll say, oh, we can also give you this, and we can also give you this. Well, you're not going to charge? Oh, no, that comes with it. And you start talking yourself out of profit all day long. Just move on to the next step.
That's right.
And by the way, the customer wants to go there. They don't want to be sitting in purgatory. What are we doing now? We're still talking?
Right. That's right. That's right. Good. Well, I like it a lot. So help me with this though, Dan. How do you stop yourself? How do you do this? How do you stop at that point when you realize there's a connection between you and your prospect, and you quickly realize that they're gonna become a client now?
Do they know how much they're paying?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point they know how they're paying.
They know everything, right? They pretty much agree. They've agreed to it. Let's say that. So how do you? What happens next in your mind besides you throwing up your arms and doing the Deej cheer? What happens next in your mind? For that.
By the way, that's a funny thing. Just how do you celebrate after a sale? I think that's important for salespeople. That you ought to celebrate a win. And a win is a win. For me, I really am happy. I'm just as happy with a $150 sale as I am with a $1,500 or a $15,000 sale. It's the same kind of feeling of getting. It's just a win is a win is a win. Right. Making something from nothing for me is just magic. I just love that. But it is tough to celebrate because a lot of times you're like, yeah, what's next? It's only this, or sometimes you have the money spent. How do you celebrate?
Well,
I'll get back to your other point.
And I think it's the outcomes. So there's 4 outcomes to every sales event, right? There's a yes, they're going to move forward with us, which we're talking about right now. There's a no, which there's no connection. There's nothing. They want apples, we sell oranges, right? It just doesn't work, right? There's a clear future, which to me means there's a clear pathway to what's going to happen next, what's supposed to happen next, right? And that has to be ironclad. We can talk a little bit about that. But then the 4th one is a lesson learned. In every situation, you have the opportunity to celebrate a lesson learned. So you're not repeating those bad habits.
Celebrate a lesson learned. All right, so let me tell you a story. I had a staffing company.
Right.
And I guess about 5 years I had a staffing company. And I had one account. It was the AT&T account, but it was like AT&T was outsourcing it to this company. So this company had 150 people there, but doing stuff for AT&T. They were packaging, who knows what they were doing. But I wanted this account. And this other company had it. And I worked on this thing for 2 years. Finally, it came off contract. The woman at the place loved me. We were a smaller company. The other company was really a big company, and she went out of her way to give me a shot on this. So I sent the email. She said, "Okay, here, go ahead and bid on this." But I had the inside scoop. I sent the email to Ginger. I said, Ginger's my assistant, and I said, "Ginger, I can't believe you don't know who Ginger."
I mean, they don't know who Ginger is. I mean, come on.
And so I sent her the email, and I said, "Ginger, we've been working on this for too long. Let's give this one a shot." And I sent it out to her, something like that, something kind of flippant like that.
I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited about this
Oh, it was
opportunity.
great.
And it's not even.
It's
and
great.
it's how long ago was it?
It was a game changer.
But how long ago was it?
Gosh, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Well,
4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I feel like it's happening right now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, go
but
ahead.
it was really. And so I sent her the email. She sends me back the proposal and all the stuff. I looked it over. It looked great. It was it kind of game changer type of account. It was going to go on for years. All said it was big money. It was good, good profit margin, and everything was good. All excited. Sent her over the proposal. I forwarded it along with my comments to Ginger about flippantly saying, "Hey, let's give this one a shot," or something like that, or whatever. Went up to their top management, and like they got our whole email string about the proposal, including the proposal. Get an email back from this lady who went out on a limb for me. And it was like, not only you're not getting this, but I have to go with this other company now, and I got some explaining to do. It was like the worst possible scenario. So I celebrated that lesson learned, and I don't forward things anymore. So thank you. Thank you for bringing up such a painful topic. While you're at it, why don't you just give me a paper cut and pour some lemon juice in it just to add to my pain and discomfort.
But let me ask you.
I'm actually out of breath now.
Will you ever do it again?
I will never do it again.
That's the answer.
And hopefully someone else could learn from my idiotic mistake. It's like writing a whole paper. The reason why this is the second time I'm bringing this up. I did a big PowerPoint presentation for somebody yesterday, twice, because the first time I forgot to save it.
Oh.
Yeah. So it took me an hour and a half, and then I went, ugh. And so I had to do it all over again.
Right.
And, sometimes you make the same mistake twice. You know how you avoid making the same mistake 3 times? The second time, display it to the whole world on a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, how much you're in it.
That's right. Well, here. Or write a list.
That's right.
Make a list.
That's right.
So now I have, I took a little of the Deej's advice. So I kept leaving things for my son at home that he needed for school.
Oh.
Which is the worst.
Oh, so you did the list thing?
So I made a list.
The Deej list?
The Deej list
Yeah.
for every morning of what I need to take for school. And I taped it right on the back door before we walk out to the carport, the garage area.
Yeah. Oh, it's the best thing.
And now I just look at that list and make sure I've got everything. And if I've got it all, I'm good.
Peace of mind.
That's it.
Total peace of mind. You know how I learned that? I learned that when I had DJ's Country Deli, the first business. And when I'm leaving, you always want to get out of there. You're there all day, so you get out. You always forget something. You leave a light on. You do this. You don't set the alarm. Who knows what you do.
Right.
So I had a little checklist right at the end of the day.
Yep.
And before anybody could leave, we had to check it off. Check,
Yeah.
check.
That's right.
Never forgot it.
If you would have had just a little list that says, make sure you don't forward all of the comments from this email trail to all of the bigwigs at AT&T, you'd be I might have not had the opportunity
I was just
to
so excited.
to do
The
this.
only solace I have is that there's so much turnover there. Everybody's gone by now.
They're telling that story, though.
I could do
They're
it
still
again.
telling that story.
I could do it again. It's like, but that's true. A lot of times you think you screwed up in front of a customer or a client or prospect, and you think about it for the rest of your life.
Right.
They forgot about it as soon as they got hungry for lunch.
Right, exactly.
They were done with it already. But here you are living with it forever.
Yeah.
I am living. It would have been. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
All right. So any last comments on this, on the, saying when
Yeah,
a
yeah.
prospect says yes.
Yeah, the biggest risk you have when a prospect says yes is for you to buy back that sale that you just made in the next few minutes or the next few days. And so you really do have to firm it up. There is a process after they say yes that can exit you out the door and solidify the sale that you just made. And I don't know that anybody's... Be honest with you, I used to have a line. My line was, does a handshake mean to you what it means to my father? And then I would shake their hand.
Right.
And there's something about, shake my hand. What do you do? You're going to leave me hanging?
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know you really wanted to do
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
And if they don't shake your hand, you have to say to them, shake my hand. What's wrong?
Yeah, come on. What's wrong?
But there's something physical. You got to be physical about it.
Yeah.
There is that touch thing that really firms it up. But you have something that's even better than that when you do it. Yeah, go ahead and hit me with that one because I like that. I'll learn from it.
I don't know if you'll learn from her.
Yeah.
But I just
No, I like it. I need to keep on.
I like to say.
Did I get a text, by the way? I was supposed to get a text from someone. I got a call. He's visiting me here.
All right.
You can respond to it.
All right. So he's gonna have to splice this. All right. So what I typically do is once I get a yes, I just like to confirm it. I like to say, here is what I want to say next to the prospect, which sounds something like, you know what, Dan, that's great. I appreciate it. Sounds like we're going to move this forward. Now, I just want to make sure I have this right. That the next step would be getting you the contract, having you sign that, and then us getting started, next Tuesday, or the beginning of the month. Do I have that right? Then typically they confirm, right? And then once they confirm that, and you say, okay, well, Dan, in full transparency, I just have to tell you, I've been in situations like this before, and where the prospect and now new client has committed to moving forward with us.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, the first of the month comes around and they go into the witness protection program. I don't hear from them. They don't start the program. So do I have this right? I mean, you're committed to moving forward on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And you know what, Dan? I know you're a man of your word, so I appreciate that. And we're looking forward to getting started with you. So really appreciate it. And we'll get this paperwork over to you, get it signed, and get things moving.
Excellent. That thing is so money because what happens is that situation will happen.
Right.
That the past customer will come back and say and do anything to win the business.
That's right.
So that's money.
Good.
So remember, when you are in a sales situation and your customer is giving you those buying signs, and we're not talking about little buying signs, the buying signs like, yes, I want to buy. What they're basically saying is, we're done here, close it up, let's go home, I got other things to do. The only thing that can happen to you after they say yes and you keep talking is that you run the risk of losing the sale.